Welcome, race fans from around the globe. Here they come, out of turn 4, to the white flag, and it's 1 to go.
All right, welcome back, sim racing fans. 1 to go studios coverage of the Back Talk TDR Gas and Go live from the iRacing Simulated Kentucky Speedway in Sparta, Kentucky. I'm Harold Darner, your executive producer for tonight. This is the second round of playoffs. Those drivers in yellow are eligible at this point, moving forward into the second round. Kentucky 1.5 D-shaped oval track. These guys will be looking to do 75 laps here after about 30 minutes of practice, which is 4 minutes remaining. And then going into a 10-minute qualifying session. 2 laps per driver by themselves will set the field for the 75 laps here at Kentucky. All right, so you guys, we've covered 2 races thus far. Last week, Daytona. You're trying to check out these guys throughout. We have 2 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the practice. Then we'll go into live qualification. Guys finishing up their practice here on the backstretch under the lights here in Kentucky. We look at tonight's weather currently. Weather for the Back Talk 75 from Lottie'sTravelWorld.com. Overcast skies, 81 degrees in the air, 83 on the track temperature. Relative humidity 54 degrees, and the winds are out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour. A minute and a half left. Guys are out here continuing their practice laps. Then we'll go into that 2-lap solo qualifying. They'll have 10 minutes to get that done. And then we'll get into the field. And if you're watching us on 1 to Go Studios on any of our 3 platforms, appreciate you giving us a shout out so know that you're watching and who your favorite driver is. Doing a reload of some of the paints because I want to make sure we've got them right. Some of the paints were coming up weird. Just want to make sure we got them all. Do a little force there. All right, finishing up here. All right, guys coming out onto the raceway. Try to stick with one here. We'll go with Mr. Cochran. There's Robert Cochran coming out on the number 90 Navy machine. One of our playoff contenders. All right, Sharon O'Neill showing up for Jim and Jay Downham. As Robert Cochran is coming around to get his first lap in. Like Eric Sellers to the top of the board in the 14 ride. Over to Eric. And then he's dethroned by Mr. Brian McCann. Brian McCann, Shelton Rule, Belhusen, and Eric Sellers, the top 5 currently. Andre St. Pierre now. All right, so Jay Downham coming in, loose in 1, tight in 2. Buckle down, get going. That's going to be a wild ride for tonight for Mr. Downham. See, look at other than Kathy Joe has checked in. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms watching. That's right. So Mr. St. Pierre's put up to the 4th spot. Bob Burlow out there now. Bob in the number 66 ride. right, so Bob Burlow puts up his laps. Looks like Mr. Trumbley, Dave Trumbley, will be out on the racetrack now for his. Looks like 20 drivers have made it out tonight. David Trumbley continued to work his time here. Mean tight. So you got loose in one side, tight on the other is what Jay's giving us. We got David Trumbley in the number 96 Ford Shelby Cobra. 20 drivers currently here. Got 2:55 left in qualifying. Trying to be a little loose, coming off of one. We got Andrew Bisnet, the number one ride here. A minute 45 remaining, and then we'll get to the grid, and then off we'll go for 75 laps here at Kentucky. Andrew Business up to the fourth position. Looks like the final guys have put up their times that want to. We're waiting for the conclusion of the qualifying round. Oh, 19 seconds to go, and then we'll get to the grid and then fire this up. We're racing tonight. All right, let's get started with tonight's grid. On the pole, Brian McCann in the number 3. Outside of him is Ryan Shelton in the number 99. Thomas Rule. Let me make sure I get these because I don't think those are the right colors. So we'll just start that over. There we go. I think we got them now. It's not wanting to push them over just yet. So Brian McCann, Ryan Shelton, Thomas Rule, Andrew Bisnet, all drivers that are in the championship position. Andre St. Pierre, Eric Sellers in row 3. Row 4 is Bob Burlow and Dustin Velhusen in the 23. And there's our colors now. Greg Braza and Jim Downham in row 5. Row 6, Jay Downham and David Trumbley. Luke Desjardins and Robert Cochran in row 7. Row number 8, Robert Trask and Chuck McDonald. Jordan Sims and Bradley Hunt. Chris Kernan and Carl Desjardins. It is the 10 rows of the 20 cars we here at Kentucky Speedway for the Back Talk 75 tonight. We'll now move on to the grid. You see all the drivers lined up on the pit lane as the pace car takes them off. "75 laps here tonight. A couple EOLs have been issued by Race Control to Andre St. Pierre and Eric Sellers. So they'll be going to the back on the parade lap. Caution lights are out on the pace car, so we should go to green flag as we're approaching the backstretch here. Get ready to get the pace car up and out of the way here so we can get to green flag racing. Tonight's racing is brought to you by Back Talk. Get them anywhere you find your podcasts. Listen in to the craziness that's going on with the guys. Okay, so the caution has been extended. So lights are back on the pace car. Though we did not go green. Under caution here before the green flag. As you see the number 3 of Brian McCann taking his position in the pole. And Mr. Shelton on his outside. Race car comes up onto the raceway to hold the field back. We'll try this one more again. All right, pace car drops down into the pits off of 4. Flagman's bringing up the green flag. And we're waiting for it to come out. Green flag weighs the 3. Oh, car straight into the wall on the start. Looked like Mr. Trumbley in the number 96 getting completely to the right as we're getting under green flag conditions here, but it looked like that Ford Mustang right turned into the wall at the start-finish line. So McCann leading the way. Shelton, Rule, Bisnet, and Burlow. Burlow, the only non-playoff contender in the top 5, as we completed lap number 1. Moving on to lap number 2, you see 3/10 between Shelton and McCann. Showing now here the number 00. Oh, somebody in the wall there. The 59 goes around. Those two cars already meeting the wall. Rule the fastest, the number 79. So Thomas Rule in the 3rd position, posting the fastest lap. He comes up behind that Coca-Cola number 99. And Mr. Shelton looking on his outside. Rule continuing to rule in this Mr. Shelton's ride, number 99. Continue to look around the racetrack for other opportunities. So far, it looks like those two are pretty much the top drivers. Chris Kernan. A lot of these throwback car schemes tonight. Number 3, the fastest car on the track right now. Rule still looking for the high side around Mr. Shelton, not able to close the deal. Rule falling back now to 3rd, under attack by the number 1 of Mr. Bisnet. Fast repair allowed at each of these cars. Carl DeJarnin down pit lane in the number 818. See him rolling down here. Showing the 27 on his paint scheme, but the 818 is what I'm showing him as. Brian leading the way here. Still green flag. Car around, looks like on number 1 and 2. Seven laps working here of the 75. So Jay Dunham on pit lane. And Carl DeJarnin looks like he went through pit lane but did not stop. He's back out on the racetrack. So Jay Dunham 2 laps down. Brian McCann looking to put another driver down a lap here. That looks like Carl DeJarnin right in front of him. Carl goes high. Brian McCann going on the inside. Coming off of 4. So McCann's led every lap here of the 8 laps thus far counted. Miss Velhusen in the house. Good evening. Good evening to you. We have Carl DeJarnin pitting in now. Proven to be a tough racetrack. Pre-race, we heard the driver saying in chat that it is loose on the 1-2 side, tight on tight 3 and 4, and that's enough for Mr. Jay Downham. He's done for the evening. He parks the car. A tough track tonight for him. Brian McCann there. Let's look for some. Let's see our battle. We got a battle here. Eric Sellers and Andre St. Pierre. Battle for the 11th spot. It looks like that's kind of pushing out. Let's see if we get anybody closer than these guys. It looks like I hear Mr. Sims and Bisnet. Sims on the inside. Not quite sure what's up with Jordan Sims' car. I thought I saw it as, yeah, the Ford 47, but I'm not showing that. Wonder why that is. Oh, I think I know why. Let's see if I can get zoomed in there. Ah. Has something to do with the spec map, I believe, in his Ford Mustang. See if we might be able to repair that on our side. Let's see if that works. There we go. Had an issue with the spec map. Hopefully that'll fix and clear it up so we can see him tonight. Nice. That now they cleared that up. Looks a lot better in that Ford Mustang. But Mr. McCann leading the way here easily by almost 5 seconds at Kentucky as he's starting to pace the guys, putting them laps down. Robert Trask now a lap down. David Trumley is moving up. Chris Kernan looks like he's the next driver that may be passed here in that 63 in that Miller High Life. Put him down. Like Trumley, like we saw him turn right at the start finish line at the green flag. Currently just about to go down a lap here. Not sure what had happened there. So Brian McCann continues to be the class of the field here, putting almost a 5-second gap over number 99 of Shelton. So now 14 cars on a lead lap. And 10's about to go down a lap. That's Luke DeJardin. And it got around him. So now only 13 cars, as we got Chuck McDonald, the winner 2 weeks ago, will be the next car that he's looking for to pass. We can find some close battling going on through. I guess the closest here is Sims and Rule, as they're working lap traffic now. Looks like Chris Kernan has disconnected. So 2 drivers are out at this time. Jordan Sims on the back bumper of Thomas Rule III there. It looks like Jordan Sims not able to get close enough to make a attempt to pass. It looks like he's got it that time. He's on the inside. Keep an eye on the corner speed for the 2 Fords as they do battle side by side. coming to the D-shaped oval. I mean, like, Rule is able to keep a gap or two ahead of Sims as we're working lap number 20 of 75. This is the closest battle on the racetrack currently. So Sims trying to use the lap traffic to close back up on Rule. Not seem like that's going to work as the lap traffic goes way high in the corner. Coming back to the stripe. About 6/10 between Rule and Sims. The closer group here is Jim Downham looking to find Bob Burlew. See that 28 ride coming up on the 66. As he's gaining ever so closely to challenging for the position. This will be for the 7th spot. Looks like Donham a little slower on that lap behind Burlew. Puts Burlew a couple more car lengths between the two of them. And it's Valhusen right behind them coming into focus. Actually, that's not. That's one of our lap cars, I believe, because the 23 here is all the way back here. It's Dustin. Brian McCann, 5.1 seconds to the lead. As we're almost approaching a third of the way done here under the lights in Kentucky. Let's go over the top 5. Currently, Brian McCann, Brian Shelton, Thomas Rule, Jordan Sims, and Greg Brazu. There are your top 5 for the TDR Gas to go. And the completion of lap number 25 of 75 here for the Back Talk 75 at Kentucky Motor Speedway. Another driver, Eric Sellers, now disconnecting. The mechanic continuing to put on a show here. Was it Andre St. Pierre and Rick Cochran fighting for the 10th spot. Luke Desjardins and Carl Desjardins look like they're going down pit lane. Or they're working together here. Not sure exactly. Report was they were slow. So I'm trying to look at their times and not see anything. Side by side here continues to be Velhusen and St. Pierre. Dustin on the high side coming to turn 1. Looks like Andre had the corner there, which like he does 67 moving up to the 10th spot. Or the 9th spot, sorry. But 10th spot over Rick Cochran. And Velhusen is actually further ahead here to 23, so I got them mixed up. I'm sorry for that. So Dustin pretty much all by himself here. The next driver ahead of him, 6/10 ahead, is Jim Downham. And the gap's staying pretty even. I'm looking at Jordan Sims and Rule again as they're continuing to go through lap traffic. 11 cars on the lead. Oh, somebody in the wall there. Looked like that was Carl. But no caution is flown yet. So 30 laps of 75 being worked here. And the number 3 of Mr. McCann has all the laps in his pocket. About 10 more, actually not quite 10. About 38, then he'll lock it in. So our race here inside the race is here for the 3rd spot. Thomas Rule staying ahead of Jordan Sims. Lap traffic up here. So 11 cars on the lead lap. The number 90 of Cochran. The next car that looks like they might be about a couple laps here. He will be there. Brian McCann putting 32s down. And Mr. Cochran is 32 sixes. So about half a second difference between the two. As this time Mr. McCann put a whole second faster in a 31.7. So about a second a lap, but 6 laps away. So John Peterson's checking in, and one of the drivers from Split Decision. So he's wondering where's the rest of the cars, because they run a 3-car format. Gas to go here. Just a traditional Cup Series with the 3 manufacturers with the Gen 7s at Kentucky. And looking here now, that Rule stay. So he gets to the attack here, Sims does, and then he just cannot complete the pass. He's trying again here on the low side. Might be able to get there this time. Side by side to the stripe at 35 laps. Advantage right now to the 47, the 79 using the high side to his advantage. 47 cannot shake him. Looks like they're side by side to the backstretch. Slight advantage to the 47 entering turn 3. The advantage through the corner, but exit to the 79 of Rule. This time he actually gets ahead of him, slides up with the 47 in the position. See if the 79 will look to cross him up. Oh, looks like they're doing the backstretch about a car length back. Still the tightest on the track here between these guys. Rule will not give that position up easily, looking to fight for it back. Continuing on the back corner panel of the 47. Right now, 11 drivers on the lead lap. Looks like the 47 coming down pit lane. The first of the scheduled pit stops at 37. Splitting this thing in half is what it looks like, as Mr. McCann is also down. So we do have drivers splitting the difference here coming down. And it'll be the first lap not led by Mr. McCann. We have the pit stops here. 2 drivers in. It's McCann and Sims. It looks like other drivers are now coming down to follow suit. So Mr. McCann, 14.5, so tires and fuel and back out onto the racetrack. So right now, Brazo leading here, but he'll be coming down pit lane shortly, I believe. Business now taking the lead in the number 1 ride. So Brazo now on pit lane. Jen Dunham now on pit lane. A lot of drivers coming down to split the race in half. This gives Andrew Bisnett the lead here at 40 of 75, but he will have to come down for a green flag cycle unless a caution flies earlier. Only 8 cars now being scored on the lead lap, with Mr. Trumley, actually Hunt being the last of those drivers. McCann, Shelton, 5th and 6th, the only drivers on the lead lap that took tires, or actually, McCann took tires and fuel in the 5th spot. Looks like Shelton only took 2 tires. Continuing to lead the way, the number 1 of Andrew Bisnett. I'm going to try to take this the distance to where there's nothing left on that car, but I believe that will be trying to hope for a caution coming out between now and the time in which he needs to get fuel. Showing Bisnett, Dalhousen, Andre St. Pierre, and Mr. Cochran all needing to come down in the top 5 that had not pitted yet. McCann, the first driver with a full pit stop, in number 3 in the 5th spot. So Cochran now down to get service done. Showing Hunt, Trumley, McDonald, St. Pierre, Velhusen, and Bisnett have yet to pit. Jordan Sims now down pit lane and on pit stop, being scored 2 laps down. Number 90 coming in there. That's Cochran. It's also being showed 2 laps down. It's like Sims has disconnected. So Bisnett continues to lead 7.7 seconds over the number 23 of Velhusen. And McCann, the first driver who has gotten the service to the end, in the 3rd spot, 16 seconds behind the race leader. The top 8 in yellow are playoffs contenders. And it looks like Sims, the first of the playoff drivers, out. Trumley in the 14th position is on pit lane currently. Show him now in the 15th spot. like he's getting some repair work done on number 96. So looking at still a handful of drivers who've yet to pit. Been caution free thus far. Almost 50 laps in, so we'll have a little over a quarter left here. 25 to go. Looking for, oh, there we go. Looks like Trask and Burlow. Very close race here. Closest on the racetrack. Oh, quite a few guys here. We got Bisnet and the 23 of Dustin trying to extend this thing out as far as they can take it with fuel. See if they can make 75 laps on gas. I don't think they can, but they may be trying to do just that. So hunt down pit lane now. There have been only 5 drivers who've yet to pit. And Trumley, the 96, being scored 3 laps down to our race leader. So 52 of the 75 are down. So we're approaching 20 laps to go here at Kentucky. Bisnet continues to lead 10 seconds over Dustin. As Mr. McCann is coming close to catching him. We'll try to get back here. Bisnet Brian McCann around Dustin. So he claims back the second position with new tires and fuel to the end, as he's got a sight set on the number 1 now. Bisnet under attack there by a lap car trying to get his lap back to number 67 of Andre St. Pierre. So 55 of the 75. So on the completion of this lap, 20 laps will be remaining, with Bisnet looking to fuel strategy this thing. 8 seconds to lead over McCann. Does he have enough gas is the question. He does have the distance, the gap pretty well. 6 cars on the lead lap. Thomas Rule being the last driver on the lead lap in the 6th spot. Again, if you joined in on any of the One to Go Studios streaming services, give us a shout out. Let us know who you're rooting for on this Mother's Day evening here at Kentucky. So 7 seconds now, the lead between Bisnet and McCann with under 20 to go. Lap times 32.5 for Bisnet, 31.5 for McCann. Second per lap, 7 seconds the difference. So should give McCann enough time to get here as long as he has no more fall off. As we're working lap 58 of the 75. .6 now, the difference between McCann and Bisnet. Last lap, 0.9 seconds the difference. Oh, Bisnet 6.1 seconds over McCann. McCann being the first guy with tires and fuel to the end. So looking here, has got Bisnet first spot. 4-8 now back to McCann. About 14 laps left. 4.5 is the gap. Looking at the gap here. Number one continued to work through the field. Come around here, be 13 to go with 4.5 seconds over the 3 car. So Caleb Ellswick checking in, watching. Another one of the drivers here. Bisnet looking really low there. I said the question is, does he have the gas here at Kentucky to go 75 in the new Gen 7s? And if he does he have enough time? Is there enough gap at the 4.1 seconds back to the 3 to maintain the lead to the checkered flag with 3.6 now as we're coming up on 11 to go? Dustin has come down pit lane for his service. It leaves Chuck McDonald and Andrew Bisnet, the only 2 drivers have not pitted. 2 point now, the gap back to number 3 of Mr. McCann. 9 laps to go. Last laps, 4/10 the difference with McCann faster. But does he have enough time? We shall see. It'll be towards the end here. Pit strategy working the way of the number 1 car, as we have not had any cautions tonight. So there's your difference shown on the screen there between first and third. 1.8 seconds as McCann's trying to catch him. Seven laps remaining to do so. 1.8 the difference. On the same straightaway, 2 lap cars on this straight as well. Gap shrunk under a second now. Number 10 is a lap car of Luke Desjardins, 5 laps back. Gap now less than half a second. Number 3 has caught the 1, and around he goes. Looks like Andrew's coming down the pit lane now. So Brian McCann leads the way. And there's Augie coming in and checking us out. Appreciate you guys being here. As we're finishing up here, 6 laps to go. Brian McCann just took over the lead over Mr. Andrew Bisnet, who was trying a pit strategy by fuel. Didn't like he had enough, but Mr. Shelton back 16 seconds behind the race leader. No cautions, so there's been a caution-free race tonight. So only 3 cars on the lead lap. The 3, the 99, and the 79. Your top 5. There's your 3. Brian McCann, Ryan Shelton, and Thomas Rule. Andrew Bisnet and Greg Brazo are laps back. Burlew, the 6th place driver, the highest of the non-playoff contenders. And we got 4 laps to go here. Brian McCann just dominating tonight. Three laps to go. Oh, sliding through that corner there. Hold on. Race leader gets around. My Facebook guys, who hopefully the connection's gotten better. We did make the switch over, so hopefully that'll work for everybody. Two laps to go. The 3 leads the way by 18 seconds over Ryan Shelton. A quick race here tonight at Kentucky for Mother's Day weekend, as we got the white flag coming out here for the final lap, presented by One to Go Studios for the TDR Gas and Go. The Backtalk 75 coming to a conclusion. Sponsored by Backtalk. Check them out anywhere you get your podcast. Look at the zany people that are on Back Talk. You want to hear a fun time, check out the Back Talk guys on any of your podcasting services. Back Talk. All right, Kathy Jo says we're doing much better now. The checker flags come out. The 3, the winner for the Kentucky Back Talk 75. Ryan Shelton and Thomas Rule run out your top 3. Only 3 cars on the lead lap. I'm trying to see if I can get these guys to come talk to us. As the set 3's gonna cut the grass and slide it across to the start finish line and keep it off the wall. Now that's impressive. As our race winner tonight. See if we can get in some of these drivers. So I've got, and it's Dustin joining me. What's up, Dustin?
Yeah, I didn't know if they gave you permission to bring drivers down, so I was just checking in on you.
Okay, well, I don't think I see Mr. McCann yet, but we can see Ryan Shelton and Thomas Rule second and third. We can talk to those guys while we're waiting for him if he's here.
All right, I will bring Ryan down for you.
All right.
Hey, Ryan, this is Dustin in the booth. You got a read on me, bud?
Going on.
All right.
Good race tonight.
Ryan Shelton, man, you went and pulled the Darlington throwback on the car.
Yeah, it was a good scheme, so I had to throw it together.
All right, yeah, looking good. Good points race. And Brian McCann, he's class of the field tonight. Big gap, but you guys stayed on the lead lap, though. So it's good for points, right?
Yeah, I screwed this entire race up from the beginning. I thought I could save enough fuel to go from green to checkered, and then about 15 laps in, I realized that I was about 4 laps short if I kept doing that. So then I started speeding up, and then me and McCann were about the same speed. I had about 6 seconds, 5 seconds here and there. And then I just started running laps and, just zoned out running laps, realized that he went into the pits, and then as soon as I realized that he went into the pits, it was too late for me to go in, even though I started to try to go into the pits and missed pit road, and then went down pit road and realized that because I missed pit road, I needed to make some of that time back. So I threw two tires on, and that was no faster than no tires, and it was a race. But second's good.
Oh yeah, it looks good, and the car made good, and you guys went caution free tonight, so that's a pretty good bonus. So Mother's Day weekend, quick and fast and done.
Yeah, unfortunately, I needed the yellow about lap 20. That's what I needed. Anything after lap 20, I would have been happy with the yellow. That way, me and McCann could have raced. I could have had a chance at it. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, second place on a track like tonight, we'll take it.
All right, so that was your second place, Ryan Shelton. See if we can get a hold of Mr. Thomas Rule, and let's see if we can find Mr. McCann. But right now, we'll go to Thomas Rule in the 79.
Hey, Tom, this is Dustin in the booth. You got a read on me, bud?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Thomas Rule, man, I saw you doing quite a lot of battles tonight, so if you go back and watch the screen, you'll see your car quite a bit. We're kind of searching for things, but the 79 comes in home in third spot on the lead lap, and tell us about your race.
A lot better than I expected it was going to go, because practice, I could not get a handle on it. And finally, after talking to Ryan Shelton a bunch of times, and he finally gave the tips, and I just followed him for the first part of the race trying to get a grip on it. It seemed to work out in my favor, and I somehow brought it home without spinning it.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that early, too. I mean, what about the initial start? I saw David Trumley turn that thing right to the wall.
Yeah, he said something about he was trying to get to the outside of somebody, just snapped around on him, which easy enough to do in these.
Yeah, the Gen 7 cars are definitely a handful. Dustin, you're about to say something.
No, I just good race, Tom. Like always, it's always fun racing around you.
Thank you. Good start to this round. Hopefully, you can continue it next week to the next round.
Right.
All right, so we can now, I guess, I go over the. So, Tom, you got anybody that you want to thank before we let you go tonight?
No, I'd like to thank all the guys at TDR for the continued work they put in their leagues. I know the men's got their hands full some days, so thanks to everyone here that keeps it going.
All right, Thomas Rules, third place tonight. Good points race for him.
Have a good night, Tom.
Too. Thank you.
Dustin, I saw you pretty much on an island for most of the race. Was that a strategy call for the 23 tonight?
I was struggling with going in loose and coming out loose, so it was just kind of just coasting. I was trying to save some gas and save tires, and I was just out there just to keep the car in one piece, basically.
Well, that's good. You know, the owners don't like it when you tear up race cars.
No, they don't.
All right, so here's the results for the back talk. 75 for Tyler Daniels Racing Gas and Go from Kentucky Speedway, Sparta, Kentucky. Brian McCann, Ryan Shelton, Thomas Rule, those three playoff drivers, top three and on the lead lap. And Greg Brazo, Andrew Bisnet coming home a lap back, fourth and fifth. First non-playoff driver is Bob Burlow, and he got the 66 in the sixth spot. Jim Downham and Dustin, there you go. You're in the still only a lap down. Not too bad here. You said you were struggling near the 23. Andrew St. Pierre and Chuck McDonald with 2 laps down. That's the rest of your top 10. Robert Cochran, Robert Trask, Bradley Hunt, David Trumley, Luke Desjardins in the top from 11 to 15. Jordan Sims, 16, 17 was Carl Desjardins, and then Chris Kernan, Eric Sellers, Jay Downham in the 20th spot. I believe that was everyone for tonight. But yeah, definitely it seemed like it was a hard track tonight, and but you guys had for the weather conditions were pretty good as far as the track was cool, and it's just seemed like it was just a tough track for this car. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it was a tough track for the car, but once we got that Thomas Rule touched on it. You know, we're getting loose and stuff going into 1 and 2, or in 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 were just super tight. It was just a different track to drive. I think once we all got our feet wet and started going, it made for a fun race.
Is it an interesting call? You know, I do a lot of broadcasts throughout the system. That you guys chose a track that the next Gen Cup car hasn't been to yet.
Yeah, Andy puts a schedule together for us, and we like doing that. We like certain tracks and having fun, and it's just it adds to the fun factor for the season and the playoffs.
Do you have somebody that does the setups, or are you guys just using the one that iRacing is providing?
We just have the iRacing ones. Yep.
Yeah, because that's kind of the thing. Like you did talk. I don't know if you talked to one of you guys last week. I was at Dover. You got to talk to Chris Busher specifically about iRacing in the car, and he says they still got some work to do. So, basically, so I could see these cars and these setups adjusting throughout the season, and give it a season or two, and maybe those conditions like you guys were having, like loose in one side and tight on the other, won't be there. That's something you would hear almost like at Darlington. You can't really dial in both corners at Darlington, but this track, Kentucky's not normally known for that since the corners are fairly similar. They're not perfectly the same, but
yeah, it's a fun track to drive. I mean, we found out like going into 1, you don't want to fully let off with this car because that's what would cause us to spin.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then coming off of 2, you gradually get down on the throttle. And 3 and 4 was kind of braking. We were playing with, do we shift? Don't we shift? And in 3 and 4, and it was kind of a wash either way. I mean, it's just some people have a little more time to practice, and they're a lot faster than most of us. But we're all out here to have a good time and have some fun with some friends. And
all right, Dustin, I appreciate you coming down and helping me out, and we'll see you guys. What's next week for you guys? I haven't looked at the schedule.
Atlanta, I believe. Let me double check, but
okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Atlanta. Yeah, we go to Atlanta next week.
So Atlanta will finish out the second round, right?
Yep.
And
We'll
then,
go down to the round of 8. Yep.
And then you have the round of 8. And okay, right now we're at 12, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, then down to 8. So I got that right. 8, and then 2 races for that round, and then you'll final race with the last 4, right?
Yep. For the round of 8, we'll race at Vegas and then Michigan, and then the final race for the final 4 would be Indianapolis.
Interesting.
Yeah, make it fun for these cars and touch a bunch of different tracks. It's fun.
Atlanta should be pretty good since the Cup cars have already been there, so that the setup should be work fairly well. And then you said Michigan, right?
Michigan and Vegas. Yep.
Michigan, Vegas. Michigan's later in the season, and Vegas they've already been to. So
The thing with Atlanta, we were kind of hoping. I know I was for the new config in iRacing, but I don't think they got the new config into the new Atlanta configuration in yet.
I don't
So we'll be
think
racing
so,
at the old. We'll be racing at the old config. So
that'll also be weird too, because like you said, Atlanta pretty much turned itself into a super speedway.
yes, it did.
So
There would be. I know most of us in the TDR community can't wait for that because we wanna touch that, but it just hasn't happened yet. And obviously something's going on. They don't want to give us a bad product and have some fun with it.
Yeah, I think their bigger concerns are actually getting the model of the car working correctly before changing another track, is what I'm seeing from the NASCAR side. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, and that's what I like about with iRacing is they want to get the cars better all the time. And this new car, just like in the real world with the Cup guys, they're learning it every track they go to, and we're doing the exact same thing. And you touched that. Chris Buescher said that that's not even close, and they got a lot of work to do, and that's what we're enjoying with it. Every update that comes out, it's like, what did they change? What's going to happen here? It's really exciting.
Buescher has an inside track. Most people don't. I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but the F in the RFK owns iRacing.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of an inside, not that much. I worked with the Roush people, and that's why I was there with them. And I know that iRacing, they keep themselves separated. I just find that interesting that big companies, you'd think they would help each other out a little bit more, but they're pretty well segregated. They're like,
yeah.
But he was saying that the car is definitely causing them to change the way they're racing, and everywhere they got to learn. And he said the short tracks are definitely a big one because they don't have the gearing right yet, which we saw that at Martinsville and Richmond. I'm not sure what they did much at Darlington. I didn't get a chance to watch it. It was Mother's Day, which, come on, NASCAR, you used to never race on Mother's Day. Like, come on. What happened, right?
Right. Yeah. They don't really take breaks anymore. They just want to keep the season going, which is nice. But, Mother's Day weekend, let them spend time with their mothers.
Well, I had no issue with the Saturday night race,
Right. Yeah.
But why'd you have to run Sunday? And I was like, I don't get it, because it was taboo for the longest time, that they were like, no, we don't race that weekend or Easter, so.
Yeah. Now they did both.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. Money talks, I guess. So hey, Dustin, we'll catch with you guys next week here, and we'll let you guys do battle in the next group and see how things go. Hopefully, you'll do a better next week.
Yeah, thanks for broadcasting this for us. We all appreciate it, and you do a great job. I love rewatching them back the next day or that same night.
All right, well, we'll talk to you guys later. And until then, I'm Harold Darner, your executive producer of One to Go Studios. We'll see you at the next turn.
Welcome, race fans from around the globe. Here they come, out of turn 4, to the white flag, and it's 1 to go.